Hello, everyone. Welcome to our discussion on long-term value. My name is Arders, and I am the CEO of Fastflow Finance. In previous videos, I spoke about who we are as a company, how we approach long-term development, and why we believe strong foundations matter. Today, I would like to discuss a topic that has shaped financial markets throughout history: the future. More specifically, why the future is often built long before most people notice it. When people look back at major changes in technology, finance, or business, those changes often appear obvious. Looking back, everything seems clear. The winners seem obvious, the trends seem obvious, and the opportunities seem obvious. But reality is usually very different. Most transformational developments begin quietly, long before they appear in headlines, long before they attract widespread attention, and long before they become part of everyday conversations. The future rarely arrives all at once. Instead, it develops gradually, step by step, year by year, often without attracting much attention in the early stages. History provides many examples of this. Technologies that eventually changed entire industries often spent years developing before they reached mass adoption. Businesses that became global leaders often spent years building infrastructure before becoming widely recognized. And financial innovations that now seem normal were once viewed as uncertain experiments. This pattern repeats itself again and again, because real change usually begins beneath the surface, before the public notices it, before the media focuses on it, and before the majority of people recognize its significance. One of the most interesting aspects of financial markets is that capital often begins moving before attention follows. The headlines usually arrive later. The excitement usually arrives later. The broad recognition usually arrives later, but the underlying development often starts much earlier. This is why long-term thinking is so important. When people focus only on what is popular today, they often miss what is being built for tomorrow. And in many cases, tomorrow's opportunities are created years before they become visible to the wider market. At Fastflow Finance, we pay close attention to long-term developments, not because we believe we can predict the future perfectly, but because we believe it is important to understand the direction in which the world is moving. Technology continues to evolve. Financial systems continue to evolve. The way people interact with capital continues to evolve. And every major transition creates new opportunities for those who are prepared to recognize it. Preparation is an important word, because successful organizations rarely appear overnight. Strong infrastructure is not built overnight. Trust is not built overnight. Reputation is not built overnight. Everything meaningful requires time, patience, consistency, and a willingness to keep building even when immediate results are not visible. This principle applies not only to companies, it applies to industries, it applies to markets, and it applies to people. The future is often being built long before it becomes obvious. The challenge is that most people only notice it once the process is already well underway. By that point, the foundations have already been laid, the systems have already been developed, and the opportunities have already begun taking shape. That is why perspective matters. That is why patience matters. And that is why long-term thinking matters. Because the future does not begin when everyone starts talking about it. The future begins when people start building it. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in our next discussion.